the world never saw it coming. While the headlines focused on the collapse of Western economies and global recessions, something extraordinary was happening. Quietly, powerfully, and relentlessly, Africa was rising. For the first time in modern history, 54 nations came together to build what economists are calling the world's most ambitious economic project ever conceived, the African Continental Free Trade Area, or AfCFTA. With a single market of 1.4 billion people and a combined GDP of over $3.4 trillion, this union is expected to grow into a $10 trillion economic powerhouse by 2035. This is not a story of hope, it's a story of momentum, and it's shaking the foundations of global trade as we know it. Across the vast expanse of the continent, from Cairo to Cape Town, a silent revolution is unfolding. In ports, railways, and digital servers, new roads cut across nations that were once isolated. New trade routes connect producers directly with markets. And new technologies, made by Africans, for Africa, are rewriting the rules of global commerce. For the first time in centuries, Africa isn't exporting just raw materials. It's exporting value, innovation, and leadership. Let's take a closer look. In just a few years, Africa has become the fastest-growing region for digital innovation on Earth. Cities like Lagos, Nairobi, Accra, and Kigali are no longer just growing, they're leapfrogging. Africa skipped the industrial age and jumped straight into the digital era. Over 600 million mobile users, 200 million digital wallets, and billions of dollars in fintech investment are transforming how business is done. Kenya's M-Pesa changed the way the world thinks about mobile payments. Nigeria's Flutterwave is powering transactions across continents. Rwanda's zipline drones are rewriting healthcare logistics. And behind it all is a generation that refuses to wait. The youth of Africa, over 60% of the population under 25, is the engine driving this transformation. While Europe and the U.S. struggle with aging workforces and shrinking populations, Africa is surging with energy, innovation, and human capital. This demographic boom is Africa's gold mine. Every year, over 12 million young Africans enter the labor market. Engineers, coders, farmers, dreamers. They are building startups, powering cities, and redefining what it means to be a global citizen. And here's the truth the world is beginning to realize. The 21st century will be powered by African youth. But it's not just tech. It's not just trade. It's everything. Africa is reinventing its infrastructure, energy systems, and industrial capacity at a scale unseen since post-war Europe. Over $600 billion in infrastructure projects are currently underway. Massive rail lines in Nigeria and Tanzania. Smart cities in Kenya, Egypt, and Rwanda. Solar megagrids in Morocco and Namibia. Ports expanding in Ghana, Senegal, and Djibouti. This isn't foreign charity. This is self-driven development, funded by partnerships with BRICS, Gulf investors, and African sovereign funds. No IMF loans. No Western handouts. This time, Africa owns its destiny. Imagine this. Within a decade, African exports to other African countries will increase by over 80%. This means the raw cocoa from Ghana might be processed into chocolate in Côte d'Ivoire, packaged in Nigeria, and sold in Kenya, all without leaving the continent. That's what AfCFTA was designed to do, to keep African wealth in Africa. By 2035, intra-African trade could exceed $700 billion annually. And with logistics and technology improving every year, Africa's share of global exports could triple. The rest of the world is watching, and some are panicking. As Africa's influence grows, the West's dominance is quietly fading. The U.S. once dictated global trade through its dollar system. Now, African nations are increasingly trading in local currencies, or even through BRICS-backed settlement systems. France's old grip on West African economies is weakening as the CFA franc loses relevance. Nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are exploring independent monetary systems, a first in modern history. Meanwhile, China, India, and the Gulf are investing in production, not control. They're building factories, railways, and technology parks that keep value inside Africa. The results are undeniable. Foreign investment in Africa has quadrupled in a decade, reaching over $120 billion annually. And this is just the beginning. What's driving this? Confidence, vision, unity. Africa is no longer the story of poverty, it's the story of potential. In Ghana, tech innovation is transforming agriculture. Drones now manage irrigation and mapping for farms. In Egypt, AI and automation are building smart manufacturing zones. In South Africa, clean energy is taking over the national grid. And in Senegal, new deepwater ports are turning the country into a West African trade hub. These aren't isolated success stories. They are signals of a continental transformation. By 2040, Africa is expected to be home to the largest workforce on the planet. That means companies from around the world are already pivoting their investment strategies toward Africa. Tesla, Toyota, and Huawei are opening local plants. Major data centers are being built across the continent. And renewable energy firms are pouring billions into green hydrogen projects in North and Southern Africa. The goal is clear: to make Africa the new engine of global growth. And it's working. The International Monetary Fund now predicts that 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world will be African. That's not a coincidence. That's a shift in global power. Every factory built in Ethiopia, every solar plant in Morocco, every tech hub in Nigeria is one more sign that Africa is no longer following the global economy. It's leading it. Africa's economic awakening is not about competition. It's about correction. For centuries, the world extracted Africa's wealth without investing in its people. Now, the balance is being restored. African nations are investing in education, digital inclusion, and manufacturing, not to serve foreign powers, but to serve themselves. The results? A growing middle class of over 500 million people, expanding consumer markets worth over $2 trillion annually, and the fastest urbanization rate on the planet. By 2050, African cities will house over 1 billion residents, creating megacities that rival New York, Shanghai, and Dubai. So, when we talk about the $10 trillion future, it's not a dream, it's a roadmap. A roadmap being paved by Africa's youth, its entrepreneurs, its innovators, and its leaders. From the streets of Nairobi to the labs of Cape Town, from across fintech hubs to Cairo's AI startups, Africa is no longer rising. It's rebuilding the world. The West may have had the first industrial revolution, but Africa is leading the next one, the human revolution. A revolution powered by inclusion, innovation, and integrity. So, as global headlines warn of Western decline, economic stagnation, and fading influence, Africa's story is the opposite. It's a story of creation, not collapse. Of courage, not control. Of unity, not division. The future of global trade will not be decided in Washington, Paris, or London. It will be decided in Accra, Nairobi, Lagos, and Johannesburg. Because this time, the rules of trade, growth, and power are being rewritten. And Africa is holding the pen.